Hey Fit Fam, Coach Russo here. In this video, you are going to learn the secret of meal prepping, which we all know is a big key to success. So you watch the end of this video. By the end, you will understand how to effectively meal prep so you can follow your diet. And if you follow your diet, you will be what? Fit forever. That's the whole point. So let me start with a disclaimer. Number one, disclaimer, I guess I have two disclaimers. Number one disclaimer. Meal prepping is a bunch of BS, okay? It does not work. It never has worked. It's just a gimmick and a mind trick. Interesting disclaimer, right? Think about that one for a second. Two, the second disclaimer is there are people who are intrinsically extremely motivated and are meal prep, what I would call masters. I know two women that are extremely good at meal prepping. They're like, they can run their own business, okay? So what's the solution to meal prep? Well, we got to regress. We got to make meal prepping as easy as humanly possible, and I'm going to do that for you right now. Here's what you do. When you wake up, spend approximately 30 seconds to a minute and decide what you're going to eat for the day. Therefore, you have there prepared your meals. Game over. That's all you have to do. That's called a plan of eating, folks. You got to have a plan of eating, and the reason is when you're motivated by hunger or boredom or a lot of other things, stress, your food choices are not going to be very health and life supporting. So if you have a plan of eating, right, you have a higher chance of overcoming these cravings and sticking to your diet. Now you're like, Coach, that's not what I would think of meal prepping. Well, here's the thing. Every good meal prep starts with a food plan. You got to have a plan of action. So if you have never cooked food and you don't like meal prepping, at least start with a food plan. Breakfast at this time, lunch at this time, dinner at this time. This is a very powerful tactic. It is not taught in fitness. I do not know why people do not talk about plans of eating. It may be because they're so into macronutrients, all these other things. So you got to have a plan, folks. If you don't have a plan, just stop. Don't even try to follow a diet. Don't subscribe to all these things. Just start with a plan of eating. More than likely, you follow somewhat of a structure with a plan. It does change person to person, okay? So let's go back to that first disclaimer, right? Meal prepping is a bunch of BS. This is why. Meal prep is a lot of work, right? You got to shop, you got to plan, you got to scale, you got to measure, you got to cut, you got to chop. Ask my mom how much you got to chop vegetables. You got to cook. Now, I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm not trying to say don't prep your meals, whatever. I'm just saying you got to be wary of this because what happens, and I see this all the time, and that's why I'm talking about this tactic, is people start to meal prep, right? They're gung-ho week 1, week 2, they're like, oh God, this is a lot. By week 3 or 4, they're completely done. And then they get in this psychological, like, oh, I suck, I can't meal prep my meals. And it's like, no, it's not that you suck. It's just a lot of work. It's a huge time commitment. I'm just being real. So what you can do to overcome this, right, is you have a general food plan, right? You kind of know when and where. And then when you go to the grocery store, right, buy foods that you know you're going to eat and cook later. That is sort of like a meal prep. That way you have food in the house. Because if you have food in your house, you're more likely to eat the food in the house. If you don't have food in your house, I know this is kind of genius, right? If you don't have food in your house, what are you going to do? You're going to go out, you're going to hit the drive-thru, you're going to hit the takeout. And restaurant food and fast food are not your friends right now, okay? They are usually loaded with lots of oils, lots of hidden calories and such things. That's why they taste so good. So if you have a plan of eating, you go to the grocery store, you buy meat, you buy vegetables, you buy quinoa, whatever. You have this general storage of food. And from there, look, you're already on your track to meal prepping, okay? Now, if you got to that far, right, this is a 3-stage system. If you got to that point, that far, let me tell you the easiest way. And my parents do this a lot. I actually know a lot of people that do this. This is probably the easiest way to meal prep. Is I cook dinner, right? Let's say it's 3 people. You, your spouse, and the kid, right? You got 3 people. You cook for 5 people. No, not so you can double up on the portions, but what you do is you take part of the dinner, right? Put that in a container, put that in the refrigerator, boom, that's lunch tomorrow. That could be dinner the next day. Therefore, you have meal prepped. That's the easiest and most effective way, folks, is just to carry over the dinner. This can also be a problem because you have pizza for dinner, guess what? Then you're having pizza for lunch the next day. Del Taco, right? You see what I'm saying? So if the food choice at dinner is poor, try not to meal prep it. But the most simple and effective way to meal prep is to just carry over dinner to the next day. And you're prepping a day in advance, right? Because meal prep people think, show up, 17 containers laid out, every meal prepped out, planned. Like, look, there are people like that. I get that. That's not what I try to teach you because it's just not sustainable. Unless you're really motivated, they're out there. I know you are. Okay. Now, the last thing I will touch on meal prepping is there are tons of meal prep services. This is becoming an extremely popular and booming industry. I have yet to see one that has bad food, right? You're not going to make it as a meal prep company if you're serving crap. I didn't say good tasting. I said poor quality, like, they're serving enchiladas and such things. So you can buy meal prep. That is actually a great way. If you have the money, they're actually getting more affordable. I've seen them as low as $5 a meal. Be careful. Usually is the less expensive, the lower the quality of the food. But look, if you're busy, a meal prep can serve as lunch. I know people, you buy 5 lunches, 5 meals, boom, there's your lunches, prepaid. That's a meal prep. It shows up at your door in a box, they're prepped, ready to go. Some people do 10 meals. I find that if you go more than that, you get sick of the foods. Even if they have a diverse menu, it's sort of the same seasonings and the same flavor, because if you look at it from a corporate structure of how you make meal prep companies, is you have to mass produce all the food. So you're not gonna have these crazy different varieties in the spices and the flavors and the food choices. So don't overload it. Don't buy these freaking month packages, like $400, 50 meals. Like, don't. Start small. I usually recommend 5. That could do lunches. So I'll end with this, and this is sort of like the action plan of what you could do if you have the money, essentially, right? Wake up, make a plan. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Boom. 2, I know I go to the grocery store, I buy foods that I'm gonna make for dinner. 3, I make dinner. I roll it over to the next day into lunch. That leaves an open meal. I decide to order meal prep. I get 5 meals. There are my lunches and dinners. Boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, that's a week straight of clean and healthy eating. I promise you, if you eat healthy for 1 week, you will notice a huge change in your energy, in your mood, in your physical, maybe not appearance, but definitely energy. It's that fast. It's instant. It's instant. So I motivate you, and I want you to try these things. You can do it. The way I just laid out, that is the simple and most effective means. I will end by saying this. Do not prescribe to crazy meal plans, restrictive diets, intense scheduling, macros, counting. It doesn't work, folks. If the old system had worked, everyone would be in shape. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and it's because it's just overload, information overload. So have a plan. Go to the store, cook dinner, roll it over, order meal prep if necessary. That will take care of your eating. That is a tactic, folks. That is a strategy that you can follow and implement starting right now. You can start right now, okay? So I want you to take that away. Meal prep. Everyone knows diet is the key to success, but this is how you actually implement and follow a diet. You do it for 1 week, you notice a huge difference. If you do it for 6 weeks, your body will look a lot different. Okay? So with that, I'm Coach Russo. If you guys can, like and subscribe to this channel. If you're interested in joining the movement, You'll Be Fit Forever, we are launching our website at the end of the month, and we're going to be giving away a free course, folks. My first free course. I'm super excited for that. It's going to be good. Okay? So with that, I'm Coach Russo. This is You'll Be Fit Forever, and peace.